All right, and we're back with our last and final conversation. And we have with us in studios Aesha Garel, correct?
Yes.
And she is the coordinator of Belize Traveling Market. And she's here to talk to us all about this micro pop-up shop in Belize. So Aesha, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you in studios with us this morning.
Great to be here, guys. Thank you so much.
I know we usually see you on Zoom, so it's nice to have you in studio.
It's a different vibe, different feeling.
It is. So let's talk a bit about the Belize Traveling Market. And for those who may not be familiar with what it is, what are we talking about?
So Belize Traveling Market, it's a traveling market as the name says, but we do pop-up shops around the country. Okay. So we have all Belizean made in Belize artisans that travel with us, and we try to elevate the experience a little bit. So it's not just like any little thing. We're kind of particular with our vendors, making sure they have really good displays, very good products. So we try to make sure that the products are of a really great quality. And so we travel around the country and we have pop-up shops in different areas. And this weekend we're gonna have one at Trey's Barn and Grill in Tea Kettle, Cayo.
So this has been 2 years ongoing,
Yes.
correct? What are some of the locations that you've had the pop-up shop so far, and what have been the response?
Well, one of the biggest ones we had was at Brava Motors in Bamapan, and that was 38 vendors total. That's our biggest one today, and it was really successful. We usually have a lot of food trucks because people, come for the food, stay for the food, and then shop and make a day of it. So we have we've also been in Belize City as well. We partnered with the Atlantic Bank and used the fire station there. We've had others in Placencia as well. So we really try to get all around the country. It's the first time we're going to be in Tea Kettle at Trey's, and we're really excited about this one.
So 2 years, so then that means you started 2020.
Yes.
Right, so talk to us about the inspiration of Belize Traveling Market. We couldn't go no way,
We couldn't go anywhere. Over the pandemic, over COVID, we noticed a lot of small businesses popping up on Instagram, and it's really great to be on Instagram and have that flexibility. But also the traveling market enables us to meet our customers in person, and make those connections, and that's really important, and to make new friends and make new connections as well. So when we go there, I mean, even if you're not selling out, you're really making new customers, and they go and check out your page, and you spread the news. And then you also get to meet other small business owners, and it's really become like a community. We're all friends now. Like, I have a bunch of friends that I would never have if we didn't start this, and we really support each other. And sometimes we get burnt out, and they understand us more than anybody else. And so it's really a community with the vendors and then with our customers as well.
So when it comes to the vendors, how do they get in contact with Belize Traveling Market to be a part of it? Because right now I see a nice list of different, is it because of the space, or is it just because people didn't get in on time? How do they get in contact with the traveling market? So
we have an Instagram page, Belize Traveling Market, and we usually have our Google form up there, and you go through, because we do have some rules and regulations that everyone needs to follow. So you go through the form, and then we kind of do a selection, because one of the big things for markets is we don't want to oversaturate the market as well. We don't want, there's a lot of jewelry vendors per se, and I'm a jewelry vendor. So if I have 10 jewelry vendors, 10 jewelry vendors, and we only have 14 people, then it's a lot of competition, and it makes it harder on everybody else.
So how do you do selection process?
So it's usually first come, first serve, and you apply, and we go through, and it's first come, first serve for the different types of jewelry or the different types of food that we have or whatever it is. And yes, the market does depend on the location as well, how much space we have. We try to have it outdoors, but rainy season kind of make things difficult. Yes. So if it's indoors, you can't have as many people, or we ask you to bring your own tents as well, and your own setup.
So what make you pick Trey's?
We thought it was a fun place to go, and we always wanted to go to Cairo. And so, we have people that reach out to us that want to host the BTM, and we're so open to that. So Ari actually reached out to us, and she was open to having us there and hosting us. So we're actually, if you're out of space and you have that space and you want to host a traveling market, go ahead and you can message us on the page as well. If you're a location that wants to, host something like that, it's not just for the vendors.
This whole idea of having a market community is not new, in that for ages we've had markets established across the world. However, it seems to be taking on a new format, and it seems to it's become a more trendy concept over the last few years, during the pandemic. You spoke earlier about some of the benefits of this type of market, of this type of setup. What are perhaps the economic benefits that some of your participants have seen?
Well, there's a lot of it really, and I really attribute a lot of it to COVID kind of keeping us home, keeping us trapped home, that we couldn't go and do our Christmas shopping in the States or the Chateau Mall or anything. So we had to kind of make do with what we had here, and I think that opened people's eyes that we do have very good quality stuff here. So the mind has actually shifted. There's a mind shift that happens, that people are starting to gift locally now. They'll go and choose local before they go and find it on Amazon or find it somewhere else. And it's not everyone, but these kinds of markets, that's why we're kind of keeping our money home. And I think that's really important for people to see that not just because it's made in Belize means it's less worthy or of less quality than anything else that would be in the States or Chatham or anything.
So I really applaud the effort, and I also applaud that it happened in the inception of COVID, because it's very difficult. But as you rightfully mentioned, a lot of entrepreneurs came in with that. But there have been a lot of pop-up shops since then, and the reason why we've had you on Zoom is because you've been a participant in most of those pop-up shops, right? So talk to us about what makes Belize Traveling Market different from Expo or other pop-up shops.
So one of the things is that it's run by small business owners. So it's 3 of us, and we're all small business owners. So we go to these pop-up shops and we know what we like, we know what we don't. One of the big things is marketing. You can't just have a pop-up shop and expect people to show up. People need to know about it. So one of the things that our fees cover is the marketing. And we start the marketing early, and it's a group effort. We make flyers and send it to the group so that they can market on their own pages too. But we really put a big precedence on marketing, because that's really important to start early so that people know about your event. We also like I said, we also try to be very particular about not having too many of the same vendors, so that each vendor has a really good turnout that day and has good profit, because we care about being successful for everybody, and not just one person but everyone. So I think those are the 2 main things that really sets us apart from a lot of the pop-up shops.
So what's the benefit of being a part of a market group, a market community, versus seeking to do this type of thing on your own?
I find that the support, it's a lot of work. Pop-up shops are a ton of work. You have to work on your own stock. And then also, if you're organizing it, you have to get all the logistics together, make sure you have enough, tents and everything. But also I find that people like to go to an event. So if you have a good amount of vendors, people will want to show up and support and have something to do on a Saturday. So that's why we have the food vendors and the drink vendors and all of that, because they make it an event and they make it like a family day, something to do on the weekend, something to do outside. So that's why it's usually successful, because it's not just to go spend your money for the day. It's something to do, and it's an ongoing conversation with your customers that you haven't seen in a while. It's really not just to go out and spend money, but it's also to meet the people behind the scenes and ask them about how do you make this, and I didn't know that you know people in Belize can make these things. It's a conversation and it's an experience in and of itself. It's not just shopping.
Talk to us about the growth. So how has the reaction from your vendors been since 2020 to now that you're hosting 2022?
Well, the first pop-up shop I actually wasn't a part of, so it was the original leaders and organizers, but it was just 3 of them. So from 3, we've gone to 38, and usually we're around 24 vendors, and we have like our main people that always travel with us, and then we kind of have some people that come in, and not everyone can always do the pop-up shops, but it's always someone new, and we're always accepting new people, and there's always new businesses opening. But it's been, we've gotten really good reception, and even from the customers, they really like our pop-ups that we put on. So it's been stressful, but really great when it turns out to be a successful pop-up shop, which is fun. The last pop-up shop we had in Belize City, we had Iguana stop with their food truck for the first time. So it's really fun making friends. And
so talk to us about the one this weekend. So give us all the details.
So we're gonna be at Trey's. It's gonna be more of a afternoon, evening one. So we're gonna shift our time a little bit. So it's from 1 to 7 p.m. at Trey's Barn and Grill. And we're gonna have 2-5 beer with some new craft beers out there. We're gonna have some music from DJ Fingers, so that you have some music as well. We're gonna have a ton, it's I think 24 different crafters out there, earrings, candles by Kay, different juices, sushi as well.
I see that.
Yes, so, and then Ikuma is a household name now.
Belican will be out there.
Belican will be out there. Zach's Jams, Eco Bags. Also, if you want some breads, there's Nava's Bakehouse, and she also sells on Belize on. So, you know, and then another new one is Belize Leathersmith. As well. So you get to meet some new vendors that haven't been with us before.
That's
so it's
the one
gonna
that
be
sells
very
the
excited.
shoes, right? The young lady that makes the shoes. I try get cheap on this show. So Belize Leathersmith, if you are out there, come see me. I really want to buy your boots.
So when you go out, are there vendors you look forward to seeing and products you look forward to?
Yes, of course. I always look forward to meeting the new vendors, especially the ones that like haven't done pop-up shop.
Yeah.
And,
how do you cater
new
to
big
them? How do you
excitement.
advertise them?
So have a master list, a master checklist. I have one on my phone, and I go through it every single time, and I have a suitcase packed with all my pop-up shop goods. The things that happen to me for pop-ups are hilarious. My chanclas pop, my pants rip. So I
extra
have
everything.
Extra every single thing. Tape, scissors, anything you could think of, put it in your suitcase, keep that on the go. But yeah, we have a group chat, and we always, whatever questions you have, we're happy to help, and happy to, if you need tent rentals, we give that information. But it's really fun to meet the first time pop-up shop people, because then you get to they get so excited, and we've been doing this for years, so it's like it rekindles the original excitement for us as well.
How do you establish them? So once, because you say you start marketing very early, so once you've had a group, when do you cut off the deadline to sign? Because I assume you can't submit anymore, right?
Yeah.
So
about like the week before, you know, we have some people that drop out, so we try to fill spots and stuff, because last thing, minute things always come up. But we kind of just accept forms, and if you reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, then we direct you to the form as well, and then let you know when cutoff time is. But we kind of play it by ear, because sometimes we got a ton of vendors, because it's around a certain seasonal time, and sometimes it's a little harder to get the vendors. But cutoff time is usually around a week before, and we do market even though we're looking for vendors, and we just release the vendor list a little closer to the time.
Would you say that it's hard to find vendors? or it's not that difficult?
It is hard to find a variety of vendors sometimes, but you know, we haven't had trouble filling up our pop-up shops thus far. Sometimes there's some weekends where like it's summer, in the middle of summer, and everybody is having their, you know, family trips and stuff like that, and so we just decide we're usually just playing this by ear mostly. You know, we put our dates out there and ask the group, because if you're in the group chat, we kind of keep you in there, and so it's a conversation we have with the vendors as well to figure out what dates would work for everybody, and we take suggestions as well as what they think.
Why do you think it's hard to find variety in Belize?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think there's certain things that sell really well, and people know that, and so they go for what they know sells really well. And so it's also hard to get some of the materials that you would need to make very unique things in Belize. So that might be another thing as well. But we're always looking for, you know, the new trend and a very unique ideas, and so we have someone that does like embroidered pillows now, and they're beautiful, and you know, people are very into decorating their homes, so that has been really good.
We just had a young man the other day that makes rugs.
From Ruggery.
Ruggery, and I was Ruggery. I was so blown away.
Unique, right?
So unique, and then different, and I was just the fact that he hand makes those himself. So I wanted to relay that particularly to you and your business, because jewelry is something that we do see quite, you know, often at these pop-up shops. So what sets Zest apart from other jewelry making companies?
So Zest, I do, my main medium is resin. So that's one of the big things that sets me apart from the gold filled, and which is really great, and the wire worked earrings. There's a lot of clay makers now, but resin for me, I love it because you can wear it in the sea.
In
like you can wear it in the sea, and it's beach life approved. It's very lightweight. So that's one of my things. But one of my big things that every time I make something, I look at it and it has to be something that isn't out there. If it's out there, or if there's something I make and then it turns into a fad. If it sells really well, fine, but I try to move on. I try to make sure that Zest looks completely different than what's already in Belize, and that's really important to me, because you know, why make some of the same stuff that's out there? And
is that one of your pieces?
Yes, one of my pieces.
I was gonna ask about keeping your creativity juices flowing. How do you do that? Especially if you don't want to be doing the same things over and over. Every show I watch people ears, basically. Yes. So it's like a dentist that the first thing that notices the teeth. For me, it's earrings. You know, fashion shows, whatever it is, I make sure to watch earrings, and I notice the different trends. But I also just play with what I would like. If I think that bigger earrings are in, I also make my own molds, so I can sketch out things and make my own shapes and stuff. So it's sometimes you get this inspiration, and sometimes you don't, and I've learned just to go with it, because you can't really force things to happen. So I watch some TV, a lot of Pinterest. Pinterest helps a lot to inspire, and just magazines, you know, the feel of the magazines, the looks, the colors in there. So you just have to follow the trends and just let inspiration come kind of organically, and not force it, because when you force it, it just... So Zest be at the Belize traveling market?
It will. We will. We have our Belize line launching for September. We're doing it really early, so we're gonna
order
have
mine now. I don't know that what yet. I can just order it right now.
We're gonna have options. So we have studs and dangles. We're gonna also have some Belizean hardwood and resin mixed keychains for men and women. So that's gonna be really, really nice. We're excited about that.
Yeah, I think just listening more the niche of this pop-up shop is the uniqueness in these Belizean products and the uniqueness in the options that are offered there at this market show. And you spoke about your inspiration in terms of how you keep things unique. I think one of the issues we brought up earlier was the variety, but I also know that in Belize there are young entrepreneurs that are seeking to become more unique, to create a niche market, to stand out with their products. What's one of the first advice you would give to a young Belizean entrepreneur who wants to get into an area where they stand out and where they're not doing the same thing that everyone else is doing?
I'd say go for it, because that's the first step, is to convince yourself, okay, I can do this. You can. It's a ton of work. Honestly, it's not for everyone, because you're working all the time and you don't get your holidays. So you have to think about the reality of it. Yes, you're your own boss, but you're working all the time. But you know, it's also I'm really grateful for, you know, these pop-up shops, the experiences I get to have, the people I get to meet. But just go for it and try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and you can always you're in control of what you make, so you can kind of shift. You can shift and figure out what works for you, what works for the market, but also think about things you don't see. We have, like you said, a ton of jewelry makers, a lot of different vendors. Look at what we have and go another way. You know, and that in itself will set you apart. Just for being a forward thinker and for being not a part of the crowd, but something different. That alone will let you stand out.
Well, Aesha, we have tons of pop-up shops to look forward to, but the Belize Traveling Market is definitely a favorite and the one to be at. When and time and place, one more time, that come right there.
It will be this Saturday, the 13th, from 1 o'clock to 7 at Trey's Barn and Grill.
Awesome. And if the best part about being at Trey's Barn and Grill, I don't know if you know, but there is no service. Therefore, you will have your undivided attention to all the vendors.
That's a good point. Yeah, so come and shop and sip and dance to some great music with us. It'll be really fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aesha, for coming in. It's lovely to see you in person. And don't forget, the Belize Traveling Market is this weekend. So if you're by the Tea Kettle area or going to Cayo, stop in and take a look at our wonderful Belizean entrepreneurs. And with that, we're going to take our final break and we'll be back for a wrap up. So stay tuned.